Welcome on into the Butler Center in St. Paul, Minnesota, as the St. Kate's Wildcats prepare for one final tune-up before they kick off MIAC play tomorrow. Tonight, the Wildcats host the Northwestern Eagles. Hello, everyone. Jason Doro alongside Tom Witchen, and tonight's broadcast is a presentation of the University of St. Catherine and produced by TJ Broadcast Services. You can visit our website at tjsportsonline.net. Our broadcast tonight is also brought to you in part by Goodmanson Construction, Twin Cities Orthopedics, Universal Athletics, Northfield Lines, Collins Electric, and Terra Construction. And Tom, as we get ready for this one, St. Kate's has no easy task tonight against a team that is always a contender in the UMAC.
Well, they won the UMAC Conference last year. Preseason poll had them the favorite in the conference this year. They've been to the NCAA tournament the past few years. And back 2 years ago, Lindsey Peterson, the National Player of the Year in volleyball, who thankfully is an assistant coach right now on the Augsburg staff. But it is a very good program. Beth does a great job. And this will be the toughest test of the season to just see how far this young Wildcat team has come.
Beth Wilmeth, as Tom mentioned, in her 16th season now with Northwestern. They made 8 straight NCAA tournament appearances from 2010 to 2017, but missed last year after falling in the UMAC title game against the University of Minnesota Morris. For St. Kate's, they come in 7-3. As mentioned, yet to play a MIAC contest. They're a perfect 1-0 here at home, and they'll look to keep that trend going. They won 7 of their first 8 before dropping 2 games last weekend in the UW River Falls tournament, falling against both River Falls and UW Superior. Both teams switching here as they warm up in the final minutes before the matchup. We'll go to a quick break here, which will include an interview with head coach Todd Nelson.
Construction continues to develop concrete relationships with their commercial and residential customers throughout the upper Midwest. Questions or concerns about concrete, asphalt, and the company's installation process, check out their website at goodmansonconstruction.com. Thank you, Goodmanson Construction. A proud sponsor of Wildcat Athletics since all the way back in 1971, the Universal Athletic Team has been passionate about fueling the dreams of athletes, and they put all their know-how into doing just that. By servicing and selling athletic gear to local athletes, high schools, and colleges, Universal Athletic has dedicated its heart and soul to the support of sports, fitness, and health programs in schools and communities.
Jason Doro here at the Butler Center with head coach Todd Nelson. And Todd, you come into this one 7-3. What have been your initial impressions of the squad you have this year?
I love coaching this group. They have come in from the beginning of preseason with an open mindset, wanting to learn, wanting to improve. They're competing at a really high level. I feel like everyone is on board with what it is we're trying to accomplish, and I really enjoyed coaching this group each and every day in our practice gym.
You started 7-1 and then got a little stiffer competition with UW Superior and UW River Falls. What did you learn from those 2 matches?
Those were good teams. They did a really nice job, and I think our compete level, we want to make sure we raise that as the competition that we play against also gets a little bit better. Our conference right now, the teams in our conference are doing great. We've got 5 of the 12 teams are either ranked in the top 25 or are receiving votes for the top 25. So our conference is going to give us that stiff competition, and we're going to work towards staying at a real high compete level when we play those teams.
Yeah, there's no off nights in the MIAC. besides raising that competition level and gearing up for stiffer competition, what else are you trying to teach them before they start off conference season tomorrow against Concordia?
Well, one of the things that we talked about and has become our motto for the season is going to be that we're going to battle together. And I think that encompasses two of the mantras that we really want to, that level of competing, and then we're going to do it together. We're all going to be, as a team, we're going to do it as opposed to individuals trying to do it on their own. And I think that's going to be incredibly important as we get into the conference schedule.
Without focusing on individuals too much, you have a couple of young setters that you've mixed in this year. What have they brought to the equation?
They have a level of fearlessness. They have had some great club and high school experience, and they are stepping into roles that they're just stepping into it without fear. And it's been great for our returners to see that fearlessness about them, and they're playing with a high level of confidence. So I've been really proud of how they've, we talk about getting swimming lessons, and they're being thrown right off the dock for their swimming lessons, and we'll be able to put a little more training in the spring, but man, they're not just keeping their head above water. I think they're doing a great job swimming.
And as we look forward to tonight's match, what do you most have your eye on? Is there a key that you're looking for?
I want to make sure that we're doing things the right way on our side of the net. I think if we can do that and we can play our style of play and we can stay engaged mentally and emotionally throughout the match, I think we're going to be in real good shape. Northwestern's a really good team.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to throw some things at us that we probably haven't seen over the course of the season. And how do we handle some of the adversity that we'll face? Because they're gonna score points for it against us. How do we handle that? And then how do we handle being successful? How well do we learn through the course of the match? Those are the big things I'm hopeful for this evening. Of course.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you to head coach Todd Nelson for joining us before tonight's match. Well, transporting Wildcat athletes is in the capable hands of Northfield Lines, Inc., dedicated to ensuring that your travel experience is a positive one. Call to request a quote or to make a reservation at 888-670-8068 or visit their website, northfieldlines.com.
All right, we're going to go downstairs. Eric, it's got the introductions.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe not yet. Thought it was ready to go. But he talked about the competition preseason here in the MIAC. There are 10 teams with double-figure wins so far in the year.
3 MIAC teams.
There you go. Welcome, fans, to the Butler Center. How loud is that? Test. Welcome, fans, to the Butler Center for tonight's non-conference matchup between the University of Northwestern St. Paul Eagles and your St. Catherine University Wildcats. At this time, we ask that you please stand and remove your caps as we honor America, as Jillian Folk will lead us in the singing of our national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, where snow gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner
Now, fans, let's meet the starters for both teams. First, with the visiting Eagles. First up, a 5'6" sophomore, number 1, Sydney Schwitters. Next, a 5'9" junior, number 2, Callie Schwitters. Next, a 5'8" first-year, number 8, Kate Rogers. Next, a 5'10" first-year, number 9, Lucy Pezel. Next, a 5'10" first-year, number 13, Kendra Hardy. Next, a 6-foot senior, number 14, Anna Gash. And starting at libero for the Eagles, a 5'3", first-year, number 3, Marilyn Schroyer. Assistant coaches for the Eagles are John Barnes, Leah Escob, Steph Holstengard, and Freya Hansen. Head coach in her 16th season, Beth Wilmot. Now, fans, let's meet the starters for your Wildcats. First up, a 5'6" first-year from Clayton, Wisconsin, number 2, Marissa Gilbertson. Next, a 5'8" senior from Byron, Minnesota, number 9, Emma Nelson. Next, a 5'12" junior from New London, Minnesota, number 12, Erin Tebben. Next up, a 5'9" sophomore from Faribault, Minnesota, number 13, Lauren Isaacson. Next for the Wildcats, a 6-foot first-year from Duluth, Minnesota, number 16, Lauren Scar. And next, a 5'9" junior from Osceola, Wisconsin, number 23, Aaron Cutts. Starting at libero for your Wildcats, a 5'4" sophomore from Faribault, Minnesota, number 11, Grace Amaker. Assistant coaches for your Wildcats are Courtney Lemke, Courtney Place, and Caroline Hall. Head coach in his 3rd season, Mr. Todd Nelson.
There are your starting lineups for tonight, and we'd like to remind you that Twin Cities Orthopedics offers a full spectrum of orthopedic care to individuals suffering sports-related problems and injuries. Their doctors are team physicians to the University of St. Catherine, Augsburg University, Hamlin University, and others. Visit tcomn.com. Some interesting notes in those starting lineups too, Tom. We see Lauren Scar in the starting bunch for St. Kate's, a freshman right side hitter out of Duluth. And on Northwestern's side, they don't start Janae Fugelstad, who leads the team in both kills and hitting percentage.
And the match that we had a chance to do here a couple of weeks ago, and what we were most impressed about was the middle for the middle blockers for the Wildcats, and also the 2 freshmen who, as Todd mentioned, not exactly deer in headlights.
Exactly, and he mentioned in that pregame interview saying that they're getting swimming lessons by being thrown off the dock and into the lake, and they're both thriving despite being thrown into the fire, really. Gilbertson and Abby Harker, those 2 freshman setters, and as Tom mentioned, in the middle, Aaron Tebben and Aaron Cutts have both been sensational so far this season. Cutts leading the team in hitting percentage at .333 and second in kills per set at 2.7. She's coming off an especially strong performance with 14 kills, 4 aces, 5 blocks, and a .345 hitting percentage in the loss against UW Superior. So here we go. Northwestern flat in that bright yellow, and your Wildcats in white. Back row attack. Chance now for the Eagles. Tipped over by Callie Schwitters, and she gets the kill down the line. You'll hear the name Schwitters a lot tonight. Sydney and Callie. Sydney is a sophomore setter, led the nation, all of Division III, in assists per set last year, and Callie helps her out from the outside hitter position. An overdig off the serve from Northwestern, and now here comes St. Kate's cross-court attack. Got a piece of it. That's Lauren Scar, the lefty, with an early kill for the Wildcats.
Yeah, touch on the way out, and out of bounds. Just one other match tonight. It's non-conference. Minnesota Morris, you mentioned they won the conference tournament last year, beat Northwestern. And Gustavus, the MIC defending conference champions, having a tough preseason right now.
Here's Callie Schwitters again, stuffed at the net. Aaron Cutts was there, and so was Lauren Scarr.
First block of the night for the Wildcats.
Emma Nelson serving. And Northwestern botches the communication on that set. Schwitters was looking for Anna Gash, the 6-foot senior middle. So 3-1 St. Kate's in the early going. That one floated over by Nelson. Schwitters, this time a back set into the block. Hardy with another chance. This time she tips it over and it drops in front of the back line. Amaker couldn't get to it.
Yeah, Kendra Hardy, she hammered one the first time, got blocked, and then just threw the changeup, threw it over the double block, and right at the feet of the defender in that back row. And the Eagles are on the board. It's 3-2.
Callie Schwitter serving. Line drive down the far side. Back set for Scarr, who clobbers it off the block and down.
Lauren picks up her first kill. And coming into the match, Erin Tevin, the junior out of New London Spicer for the Wildcats.
Schwitters to Gash this time, dug in the back row. Now tapped across, and what was the call there, Tom? I missed the signal from the official. Into the net.
Yep, on the net.
So 5-2 the scoreline with Cutts serving. Schwitters with a set to the outside. Got a piece of the block, a chance for St. Kate's. Cross-court shot. Lauren Isaacson for the kill.
And that's 5 in a row now scored by the Wildcats as they lead 6-2.
They've caught the Eagles off guard here at home. Gash with a tip from the middle. Scarr covers. Back row Nelson down the pipe. Almost an overdig. Northwestern gets it back up and across. Nelson hops in to save it again. Roll shot from Isaacson on the near side. Hit right back across by Northwestern. In the end, the St. Kate's run. The Eagles are 6-3. A perennial contender from the UMAC. 12 UMAC championships for Beth Wilmoth while she's coached this program, but that serve from Hope Kapelke is into the net.
Yeah, preseason poll had them again, number 1, followed closely by UW Superior and also Minnesota Morris.
They went 15-1 in regular season conference play last year before falling to the University of Minnesota Morris in the conference championship game in the postseason. That one's into the block. Schwitters will try Fugelstad again. Weaves that one through the block and down. Fugelstad was not in the starting lineup, but the junior outside hitter will play a factor today, leading the team in kills and hitting percentage.
By the way, Brianna Leverance came into the match too for the Wildcats out of Andover. Here's Bree.
Leverance cross court, and she finds the deck.
Third kill for the Wildcats, and again equaled their biggest lead, 8-4 here in the first set. That's 3 out of 5, get to 25, win by a couple.
And an ace for Lauren Isaacson.
I think it was going to go out of bounds, but it hit the shoelaces of the defender in that back row, and that caused it to stay fair.
A hot start for St. Kate's at home as they look to stay perfect at the Butler Center. They're 1-0 so far here at home.
Other action tonight on the calendar for the Wildcats, the soccer team. They're now 3-2 on the year. They're on the year, and they're down at St. Mary's this evening for a big match, and also the fundraiser down there between the Cardinals and the Wildcats. I think it's pediatric child care, I believe, is the goal for their fundraiser tonight down in Winona. And here at home, it's faculty and staff appreciation night. And they're going to have some ceremonies between one of the first two sets in honor of the faculty and staff here on campus at St. Kate's.
It's always cool to see the relationships that develop between students and not only their coaches, but those staff and professors that help them develop during these college years.
This is a big college with over 5,000 students, but it just feels like a small community. Maybe it's because it's a small gym, but a very close-knit community here.
And you could sense it in the season opener, or the home opener, I should say, for St. Kate's.
Place was packed.
Yeah, and it filled up as the game moved along. You could see athletes from the various teams across campus make their way to the Butler Center and fill it up to cheer on these Wildcats. Well, 9-4 as we resume play. Schwitters taps that one across. Now Nelson, and she didn't get that one up over the net.
That's the first block of the match for the Wildcats. Correction, for the Eagles.
Kate Rogers, a freshman from Woodbury, to serve. Down the middle. And there's Leverance again.
That time playing the middle, and Bree's got her second kill.
Parker on the set.
Wildcats with 4 kills, with Eagles with 4.
And now Harker serves. Back set from Schwitters. And they're saying that St. Kate's was in the net.
Okay, because that swing was deep and out of bounds.
Yep. That was well long, but Northwestern takes the point, and we sit at 10-6. Sydney Schwitters down the near side. Nelson with the serve reception. She'll get the third touch, too. Blows it off the block. Schwitters outside, tapped across by Callie Schwitters. Bump set here for St. Kate's. They're out of system. Now Schwitters with the back set. Hardy looking for that back corner, but an excellent save by Isaacson. Free ball for the Eagles. Outside Fugelstad with a missile, and she gets a kill. Quick set up the middle, and a healthy cut from Aaron Cutts results in a kill.
And Aaron has her first kill tonight.
And St. Kate's will continue to get her involved, the junior middle hitter, who comes in leading the team in multiple categories, including aces, blocks, and hitting percentage. Callie Schwitters drills that one into Isaacson in the back row. Callie is an integral piece for Northwestern, a junior out of Clara City. Second on the team in kills and digs. And there's an ace. Isaacson and Cutts miscommunicated on the serve reception.
Second ace tonight for the Eagles, and they've cut the margin, 9 serving 11.
Lucy Pelzel. That time Isaacson handles it. Back set, far side Nelson into the block, and it finds the St. Kate's court.
Yeah, Emma Nelson threw it into the double block and shut down.
Anna Gash, 6-foot senior middle on the stuff that time. Pelzel again, line drive. And that one hung on the arms of Gash as well as the net, but then eventually fell for Cutts. Cutts getting more involved, a couple of kills now. Nelson serves. Rogers almost trying to use a platform to bump it up, changed her mind. Now it's stuffed at the net from Cutts. A swing right away from Hardy. Now Isaacson near side. Roll shot middle. Dug out by Schroyer. Near side, it's Hardy. Cross court. The Wildcats looking to track it, and it falls into the bleachers.
And the margin is 1. Eagles' only lead was at 1-0 before the Wildcats ran off about 5 in a row. Now 11, serving 12.
We knew this was not a gimme, though, for St. Kate's. Northwestern surely comes to battle tonight. Isaacson, cross court, off the hand of an Eagle. It was Fugelstad who couldn't handle it.
Aaron Cutts picks up her third. And the Wildcats have their 7th kill. Lead back up to 2. And Aaron will go back to the service line.
Cutts to the back row. Serve reception straight to Schwitters. Swing from Gash. And they're
In the
calling
net.
Northwestern for another infraction getting into the net.
No, they called Aaron Tevin for in the net for the Wildcats.
Oh, excuse me. Yes. There we go. 13-12.
Almer could come back in as libero for the Wildcats.
Nelson mishandled that serve. An ace for Hope Kapelke. Kapelke now with a dozen aces on the season. Sophomore setter from Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin. Down the middle for Nelson. Gilbertson outside for Isaacson. Pushed back up by Schroyer. Fugelstad far side. Got a piece of the net. Gilbertson to the middle, and she overshot Erin Tevin. So now Northwestern leads 14-13 here in the opening set. The Eagles are 2-1 on the road so far this year. Isaacson with a serve reception. Back set, far side for Scar, off the block and down.
Lauren has her second, and we're tied for the third time at 14 apiece.
Scar out of Duluth East High School, was a co-captain her senior season. And now a freshman for St. Kate's. Schwitters back set near side for Gash. Stuffed up front, the rejection from Erin Tevin.
Wildcats got 2.5 blocks. Nice double block in the middle. And the Wildcats have the lead back.
Harker serving. That's a line drive to the near side. Bump set over to Fugelstad. Handles from the 10-foot line. Nelson with the dig back row. Back set far side. And Leverance with a kill cross court.
Bree has her third. Leading the Wildcats. Lauren Isaacson has 2. Lauren Scar 2. Aaron Cutts with 2.
Harker trying to keep it rolling. Outside Fugelstad. Into the block, and then it falls out of play. So it's a Northwestern point, and they're back within 1. A steady diet of sets now for Fugelstad as she moves into the action. Schroyer serving. Nelson handles it. Back set from Harker. Big swing from Tevin. Now Schwitters out to Fugelstad again. Looking to go cross court. Excellent dig from Amaker. Isaacson near side. Got a piece of the block, and it is indeed a St. Kate's point.
And Isaacson got that one. 2-point lead for the Wildcats.
(17-15) with Larissa Kish, the senior serving. Schwitters outside. Now here's Nelson off the block. Schwitters trying to go over on 2. Stuffed by Nelson. Really heady play at the net. Northwestern wound up out of system, but the same follows for St. Kate's. Back set on the slide, tapped over by Pelzel. And St. Kate's couldn't handle it.
That hit the return by the Wildcats, hit the antenna out of bounds point for the Eagles. Now 1-point match, 16, serving 17. Back to the line is Kate Rogers. Wildcats hitting .360 right now.
Nelson with the serve reception. Far side, Leverance. Excellent dig by Northwestern. Callie Schwitters winds up and powers it home.
Boy, she's got a gun off that left side.
There was some extra heat on that one. Tied up at 17 apiece. St. Kate's led earlier in this set 9-4. Amaker with the first touch. Swing from Nelson. A dig from Rogers. Fugelstad off the far side. Taps it over with some extra heat again.
Leverance tried to go up and put the block on Schwitters. And Kelly won the matchup there to give the Eagles their third lead of the match, their fourth lead change. We've had 4 ties, 4 different lead changes.
And that forces Todd Nelson to call timeout for St. Kate's as they trail 18-17 in this opening set.
We talked about a very tough preseason for these teams here in the MIAC. Augsburg with 10 wins. They're 10-2. St. Ben's, the preseason favorites in the conference, they are 11-1. St. Olaf, the surprising oldies, they are 11-1. St. Thomas 10-2. St. Kate's 7-3. Hamlin 7-3. So a very tough conference. Those top 6 spots in the playoffs. It's going to be quite a battle, I think, right down to the final weekend.
And 3 teams ranked in the AVCA national poll. St. Ben's at 12, Augsburg at 17, and St. Thomas at 18. So not only are these teams winning games, they're among the nation's best, presumably.
Well, St. Thomas and Augsburg both went 4-0 in the Augie invite here a week or so ago.
And St. Kate's has done their best to prepare for that MIAC slate. Last weekend playing in the UW River Falls tournament. They got a straight sets victory against Northland College. That was their 6th win in a row, but then they dropped back-to-back matches against UW River Falls and UW Superior. So the Wildcats are 7-3 entering today. Rogers serves as we resume. Harker sets the middle. That was Tebben with the swing. Fugelstad, another strong tap, but that one's long.
Yep. Could have gotten called for the carry. Something they don't call as much here in college volleyball. I remember in high school, boy, that would have been whistled down right away on a carry. Ace!
Amaker with the ace. 2 different Eagles converging on the ball.
Second ace for the Wildcats. The other one was Lauren Isaacson.
That time Amaker serves short. It leaves Northwestern out of sorts, and Fugelstad's attack is blocked. Cuts and Leverance there.
2.5 blocks. It should be now 3.5 blocks for the Wildcats. They have the lead 20-18. The race to 25.
Schwitter steps up, taps it over. Nelson from the near side. Schwitter sets the middle, tapped over. Nice diving play by Kish to save it. Back and forth they go here in the opening set. Schwitter's into the block again.
4.5. 2 blocks in a row. The lead is 3. And Beth Wilhelm decides to call timeout for the Northwestern Eagles.
4 straight points for St. Kate's, and Wilmeth calls timeout at 21-18. Just as things started to swing Northwestern's way, St. Kate's comes back with a huge response. Cuts now with 3 blocks, 2 kills in a big opening set against one of the premier volleyball programs here in the Twin Cities. A reminder that Collins Electric, a contracting firm that is experienced, progressive, responsive, competitive, safe, and on schedule. Qualities that translate into excellence and trust. Trademarks that have carried their reputation since 1928. Collins Electrical Company aspires to continually improve in all aspects of their business.
Wildcats take long 3.5-hour bus trip up to the Red River Valley tomorrow. Take on the Coppers and Memorial Auditorium.
Concordia 3-9 so far this year. Back underway. Schwitters for Callie Schwitters. Denied again. A brick wall at the net for St. Kate's late in this first set.
Unbelievable. 5.5 blocks for the Wildcats. I think 3 of their last 4 kills coming at the net.
Amaker line drive serve, and they're getting help from Amaker, an ace here. She's really mixing it up in her serves here. Sometimes floating it over and looking short. That time a laser.
Double set point.
Another dart that time. Back set from Schwitters. And this time, Lucy Pelzel ends the run. 23-19. And Sydney Schwitters, the sophomore setter, serving. Down the middle. Kish with the reception. Quick set for Cuts. And she hammers it home. Set point number 1 for St. Kate's. Scar back into the game. Harker exits with Gilbertson serving. Here comes the freshman. Tapped over. Cut saves it. Gilbertson near side for Nelson into the block. Kish pushes it back up.
4 hits called.
Handing Northwestern the point. They're saying that attack didn't get over the net, so it's 4 touches. 24-20. Pelzel serving now. A good crowd has filed in here to the Butler Center for the second home match of the year for St. Kate's. Gilbertson quickly to Cuts, and set number 1 is complete. St. Kate's with a strong start to this one. They take the opener 25-20. And Aaron Cuts was instrumental in the success there. 4 kills in the opening set, as well as 4 blocks, 6.5 points. So 3 of those were block assists, 1 solo. A big opening set for the junior middle hitter, and St. Kate's already has Northwestern on the ropes.
Another support of Wildcat Athletics is Terra Construction of Rogers, in business since 2007. Their continued success is built on the efforts of past and present employees. Their greatest asset, their employees. Terra Construction make an effort to engage all of their staff in the decision-making process, resulting in a foundation built on honesty, integrity, and trust. 3 different leads for both teams. Biggest lead for the Wildcats was 5. Biggest lead for the Eagles was 2. We had 4 ties, 5 different lead changes. And the Wildcats hitting an astounding .344 in that first set. Just 200 for the Eagles. As they had 6 attack errors, the Wildcats had just 1 attack error that entire first set.
Todd Nelson will love to see those numbers. His squad came in hitting .203, so .344 is through the roof. 5.5 blocks in that opening set, too. St. Kate's averaged 2.1% before this evening.
How about Erin Cuts? She had 4 kills, but she was also in on 4 blocks for the Wildcats.
And she got some help, too. Lauren Isaacson with 2 block assists. Same goes for Brianna Leverance, and they each had 3 kills. A well-rounded performance spearheaded by Cuts.
On the Wildcat calendar, the tennis team will be in action on Friday. Saturday, the golf team came off a second-place finish in their last meet. They, I think, are hosting this weekend tennis at the ITA. The soccer team will be hosting Carleton College on Saturday afternoon. The volleyball team will be up in Duluth to take on St. Scholastica. And they will also be taking on UW-Superior. So they're playing a tournament on the weekend.
Exciting to see all the different teams gear up for this fall sports season and finally hit the middle of that conference schedule and play some tougher teams. St. Kate's, of course, kicking off conference play tomorrow against Concordia. 7 p.m. against the Cobbers on the road. That will be followed with matches against the College of St. Scholastica and UW-Superior. Both those on the road over the weekend up in Duluth and Superior. Games at 2 and 6 p.m. respectively.
Score from Winona, first half. And St. Kate's leading St. Mary's by a score of 1-0 about Shotley Cardinals. 4-1. Let's see if I can pick up who got that goal for the Wildcats in the middle of the first half. Goal was Allie Bird.
Set number 2 starts with an overpass from Northwestern. They're out of sorts again. Gilbertson back set for Scar, and she'll fire long. No sign of a touch, so the Eagles have the first point of this second set. Kapelke to serve. 2 aces for Northwestern in the first set. Gilbertson steps up, sets the outside in Scar, looking to go cross court, and this time she rifles it wide.
That's 2 straight attack errors. The Wildcats only had 1 attack error the entire first set. Now they've given the Eagles a 2-0 lead.
And Scar hasn't played a ton, but she did come in hitting .273, which is a pretty good mark. Kapelke sends that one into the net, and it's the first point of the set for St. Kate's. Emma Nelson now goes right down the middle, handled by Schroyer. Back set from Schwitters. Gash off the block, and St. Kate's runs out of touches.
Anna Gash got that one. Yes, she did.
Gash has been academic all-conference in the UMAC in each of her first 3 seasons as an Eagle. Schroyer serves. Nelson handles the reception. Here's cuts off the near side with a gun cross court. Now Fugelstad rolls it across. Gilbertson lobs outside. Hammered off the block. Very high set for Fugelstad. Tough for her to handle, and she hits it into the net. Fugelstad is a really well-rounded player, one who can hit from many spots, but that was a tough situation. Cut serving. Schwitters, back set for Fugelstad, cross court, handled by Nelson. Now Isaacson into the block. Gilbertson sets the middle, and Tebben, she drills it off the block as well. Tapped across, steps up. It's Gilbertson who saves it. Lauren Scar now to the far side. The lefty makes no mistake this time, and we're tied at 3-3.
The lefty on the right side. This is kind of a change of scenery, and we have got our first tie at 3-all.
Schroyer with the serve reception. Near side, Fugelstad, who just dumps it down a little past the 10-foot line.
Janae has her 3rd kill.
Oh, but instead they're saying Fugelstad was in the net.
Oh, okay.
A point for St. Kate's. Cut serves, and it's an ace. And the lead extends for St. Kate's.
Aaron Cuts with her first service ace. 4 now for the Wildcats. They lead by 2.
And they took the opening set 25-20. That time Cut sends it long. Cuts comes out. And Rogers will serve for Northwestern. Down the middle for Nelson. Gilbertson. Back set. Near side. Scar with the tap. Scar changing pace there. She brought some heavy swings on her first several attacks in this set. That time tipped it over for the kill. 6-4 with Harker serving. Schwitters, back set on the slide. Now that one's wide. Pelzel on the attack.
9th attack error for the Eagles. And just hitting .143 tonight so far.
Harker again. Schwitters again going to the slide in Pelzel. That one was clean. Punched back over by St. Kate's. Schwitters into the block. A joust at the net. St. Kate's knocks it across. And another stuff. Leverance and Tebben persistent at the net.
And to the fans watching back home, what an effort by the Wildcats at the net defensively. Just dominating 5.5 blocks and hitting .279.
The first set started with a 9-4 St. Kate's run. The second set begins with an 8-4 Wildcat run, forcing Beth Wilmeth to call another timeout. Well, Wildcat athletics are proudly supported by ProTech Designs, floors by Becker, McGough Construction, the DLR Group, and Save-A-Tree. Northwestern is coming off a 23-9 season, one in which they won the UMAC conference, and while the UMAC might not be on the level of the MIAC, The Eagles are one of the better volleyball programs here in Minnesota and on the D3 level, and yet St. Kate's is not only playing them toe-to-toe, but besting them to this point. The last time these two programs met was 2016 in early October, October 4th to be precise, and Northwestern won in straight sets. St. Kate's was 13-7 that year, and based on what we've seen from the Wildcats so far in 2019, they'll probably top that mark this season. Otherwise, the Eagles and Wildcats haven't met in the last 6 years. That's their only matchup. And an ace out of the timeout for Abby Harker. Harker with a dart that finds that far sideline. She'll go down the middle this time. Schwitters outside for Callie Schwitters. Got a good chunk of the block. Isaacson roll shot middle. Dug by the Eagles, tapped into the middle. Nelson in the back row. Now here's Leverance. Schwitters to the middle, mishandled. And that was still only 3 hits for Northwestern. Schroyer over to Sydney Schwitters, who dumps it into the middle and finds the donut. Amaker dove for it, looking for the pancake, and couldn't get to it. (9-5) the score after a crafty play from Sydney Schwitters, the sophomore who in her freshman season was named to the AVCA All-Region Freshman of the Year, and she was also an honorable mention All-American. She led the country in assists per set at 11.6. St. Olaf's Lexi Wall was second actually at 11.5. Back set from Harker. Tebben off the net, and it drops out of bounds. It didn't get a piece of that Northwestern block. So it's back-to-back points for the Eagles, and they're within 3 in set 2. Schwitter serves. Nelson. Bump set coming for St. Kate's. They're out of system, and that's a double contact. Amaker tried to push it across. And got both hands on it at different times. Harker, back set on the slide. It's Tebben. Powers it down the middle. Tebben's coming off a big match, 13 kills. She hit 500 and had 3 solo blocks in the 5-set loss against UW-Superior. Schwitters over to Hardy, who flips it into the back corner. We haven't called Kendra Hardy's name all that much, a freshman from Alexandria. She's averaging 1.5 kills per set coming into tonight. And she makes it 10-8 here in set 2. St. Kate's took the first one, 25-20. Harker outside. Nelson blocked at the net. Almost overdug by the Wildcats, and it trickles out of play on the near side. Both times that Beth Wilmoth has called a timeout early in this set, her Eagles have come back firing and responded well. Isaacson with the serve reception. Back set to Leverance on the right side, who nails it down.
Good balance for the Wildcats. That is 3 different young ladies with 4 kills to lead the way. That's 12 out of their 16.
Amaker serves it short. Rogers steps up. Now Nelson off the block, falling into the middle. Saved by Callie Schwitters. Far side, it's Hardy. Misses that back line. No touch by St. Kate's, and the Wildcats take the point.
Tough night for the Eagles so far, just hitting 153. That was their 10th attack error.
Uncharacteristic of a strong Northwestern program. Gash tapped that one across. Nelson on the far side off the bump set from Amaker, and she still takes care of it.
Emma, who had such a great match in the opening home match of the season, that's just her first tonight.
And she's one of the most versatile players on the court. Rogers with the serve reception. Near side, Callie Schwitters over the block and down. Schwitters really winds up and packs a punch with her swing. And she serves here. Nelson with the reception. Right side, it's Leverance. Hammers it right into Schroyer, and she can't handle it. Wildcats by 4 in set 2. Gilbertson comes on. So does Lauren Scarr. Parker and Leverance get a breather. Schwitters outside for Fugelstad, denied at the net. Another chance now. That one's off the block. Got a piece of Lauren Scarr's hand and then dropped on the St. Kate's side. It's 14-11. Hope Kapelke enters and will serve. All 3 of Northwestern's losses have come at the hands of Mayak foes. Gilbertson to the middle and cuts off the block, and it finds the deck. 15-11 St. Kate's. The Eagles have dropped 1 against Bethel. They lost in straight sets. And they've lost 2 against St. Ben's, but they beat Concordia and Carleton, so they're 2-3 against Mayak opposition. Fugelstad with the tap over the St. Kate's block, and it drops down 15-12.
I finally found a feature that Matt had on our broadcast last year. We have an email that you can write us, wildcatbooth@gmail.com. If you have comments, suggestions about our broadcast and how we're doing tonight, give us a shout out, and we'll give you a return shout out. And as wildcatbooth@gmail.com. Let us know if you're watching tonight. Let us know where you're watching from.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. And see where in the world Wildcat fans are tuning in. Scarr had the hitting error on that last point. Gilbertson, quick set for Cuts in the middle. And it bounces around, pinballing to the deck. Another kill for Cuts. 5 kills on the night for Erin Cuts. 8.5 points for her. Fugelstad with the tap on the far side. Cuts pushes it back up. Nelson down the pipe from the back row. And she weaves it between Eagles.
21 kills now for the Wildcats tonight. They lead by 4. The biggest lead was 5. I believe that was a 9-4. Cuts with 6. Leverance with 5.
And they're still hitting 281. Nelson with an excellent dig. Isaacson has to set it over to Tebben. She nails it over to the Northwestern side, and then Fugelstad mishits that tap. One of the largest leads now that St. Kate's has seen in this second set at 18-13. Sydney Schwitters over to Fugelstad, and that's easy work. The junior outside hitter makes no mistake. 18-14 in set 2. The freshman Rogers serving for Northwestern. Outside, it's Isaacson. She uncorks a fastball across court. 5-point advantage again for St. Kate's. Lauren Scarr getting a quick chat with Tom Nelson as she exits. Gilbertson to the bench too as Harker comes in to serve, switching at that setter position. That set was tight. Callie Schwitters couldn't get to it.
The block go out of bounds was a little out of my view.
Not sure if Schwitters even got it over the net.
Well, it's a 6-point lead right now.
Second timeout of the set called by Beth Wilmoth. Both teams retreat to their benches with St. Kate's leading 20-14 in set number 2.
Wildcat Athletics are proudly supported by Protect Designs, Floors by Becker, McGough Construction, the DLR Group, and by Sabertree. And Wildcat supporters this season include SBL, U.S. Bank, the Leffler Companies, Cone USA, Fury Motors, and Twin City Hardware. By the way, an update from Winona, and I think I gave you the wrong person with a goal. Sophie Kemble got the goal for the Wildcats, and with about 7 minutes remaining in the first half, they lead St. Mary's by a score of 1-0 coming into that game with a 3-2 record. By the way, if you want to get a hold of us here up in the booth, it's wildcatsbooth@gmail.com. Let us know you're watching and listening from.
I'm impressed that Matt was the first one to grab that email address. No one else wanted wildcatsbooth@gmail.com?
Yeah. He's been doing it for 2 or 3 years. We've had some great response in volleyball and basketball over the last couple of years.
Both teams returning to the court. St. Kate's leading by 6 in set 2. They took the first one 25-20 against a team that comes in a really stellar program out of Northwestern. On the slide, that was Pelzel for the kill. Schwitters has been peppering Pelzel on the slide, and she continues that effort there. Schwitters serving now. Harker lobs it outside. Isaacson has to retreat to hit it across, and with some luck, that one finds the ground.
Yeah, Lauren just floated it over thinking it was going to come back to her, but it fell right into no man's land. None of the 3 girls could get to it. Point for Lauren. She's got 5. Leverance has 5. Scar has 4. Cutts has 6.
Just the ability to adjust was impressive there from Isaacson. Hardy with the kill, smashing it off the block. A big mix of contributors here for the Eagles, but they trail by 5 in set 2. Floated over. Kish dove for it. This one has to be across from Leverance. It is. Schwitters outside for Callie Schwitters, and she pokes it over from a tight angle. Some serious adjustments on both sides. First, Isaacson backpedaling for her attack on the prior point before Schwitters uses the fist to get that one over. Harker over to Nelson. Roll shot into the middle. Perfect placement. If anything that has stood out from Emma Nelson in the second set, it's been the poise and placement on her shots. That one was in a spot where no one could reach it. The Schwitters connection, dynamic there, but the attack is out of play. Misses the near sideline.
By the way, you mentioned
and now
Nelson.
They're switching the point. Now they're saying it was in.
Nelson, you talked about her. She was scoreless in the first set. She's got 3 kills in this set alone.
23-18 after that service error from Northwestern. So that prior point, they called out. They must have got a piece of the St. Kate's block to result in an Eagle point. Gilbertson down the middle, handled by Schroyer. And there's the hammer from Fugelstad going up and getting it. When Schwitters and Fugelstad connect, they're really unstoppable. Kapelke serving. St. Kate's 2 points away from going up 2-0. Kish had the serve reception. Scar, left-handed swing. Gash hits it across and finds the opening. Vacated by Kish and Scar on the far side.
Gash has 5. And Janae Fugelstad has 5. And Coach Todd Nelson will call timeout. Other Wildcat supporters, Eckford Glommers, attorneys at law, Midwest Vending, Triple Tree, Dadian Gardner, public attorney, Jimmy Johns, and of course TJ Broadcast Services, went to the email address wildcatsbooth@gmail.com, and riding in all the way from Vegas, Jim Wheeler. And he said, let's go to St. Kate's, cheering loud with some bourbon in Vegas, baby. Thank you, Jim.
How about that?
Again, that address is wildcatsbooth@gmail.com. Let us know what you think of our broadcast here tonight and the outstanding efforts of the grumpy old man, Glenn Thompson. He's been with us for the last 8 years and getting us on the air every time out. Well, good thing you had your headphones off. No, it was really nice. I talked about you really nice.
And I hope for Jim watching that perhaps we'll see some of Julia Weiler, sophomore defensive specialist, later in this match.
Did I say Wheeler? It is Weiler?
I believe it is Weiler.
Okay.
23-20, late in set 2. Tapped over by Cuts, and she gets it down.
7 for Aaron. And here is set point for the Wildcats. Making a statement and serving notice to the rest of the conference. They're going to be heard from this year.
Cuts has 10.5 points. St. Kate's is 7-3 to start this year, looking to improve upon that mark. Bugelstad, roll shot, stuffed. Another chance coming now for the junior. Hit into the back row and saved by Nelson. Isaacson gathers and gets the kill. Closing set 2. Back-to-back sets, St. Kate's takes 25-20. The Wildcats clicking and firing on all cylinders in this non-conference matchup.
Hitting .318 through the first 2 matches. 5 errors on the night for those here in the second set. But they have 26 kills, just 5 attack errors. And no service errors. Good job back at the line. Have 5 aces. But the play at the net, 5.5 blocks for the Wildcats. And Aaron Cuts, I think, was in on 3 or 4 of those blocks. As you mentioned, she has 10.5 points, 7 kills, and 3.5 blocks.
Almost all those blocks came in the opening set, too. As we look back at the set number 1 statistics. Yeah, 5.5 actually. They were all in the first set according to the sheet that I have in front of me here. But either way, it's been a well-rounded performance for St. Kate's, as it looks like we're getting the staff and faculty appreciation honors here in between sets.
By the way, Jim wrote in again and said, good suggestion, put number 1 back in the match. As a family-owned and operated business since 1971, Goodmanson Construction continues to develop concrete relationships with their commercial and residential customers throughout the upper Midwest. Questions or concerns about concrete, asphalt, and the company's installation process, visit their website at goodmansonconstruction.com. 2 different leads in that second set. Eagles led once, the Wildcats led once. That brings us 1 lead change. We've had 1 tie. Biggest lead for the Wildcats was 6. Biggest lead for Northwestern was 2.
And we'll see if they can keep it rolling against this Northwestern team, which will surely be resilient in some capacity given their history. A program that made 8 straight NCAA tournament appearances from 2010 to 2017 and has secured 12 UMAC championships under head coach Beth Wilmeth. In fact, at one point they won 65 straight UMAC matches. That streak was eventually snapped last year on October 16th.
We've had the opportunity to broadcast from UNW. Done some volleyball there, done some basketball, did a football game. The Augies played Northwestern here a few years ago. Very nice people to work with over there. As we get set for set number 3.
And before we kick off this set, we'll remind you that Wildcat supporters this season include SVL US Bank, the Leffler Companies, Cone US, Fury Motors, and Twin City Hardware. So Todd Nelson's bunch leading 2-0. They took each of the first 2 sets by a scoreline of 25-20. The Wildcats were 7-1 to start this year before dropping their last 2 matches against UW River Falls and UW Superior. Callie Schwitters serves to start off set number 3. Nelson with a rocket to start off this 3rd set.
Was that a touch on the way out? It looked out of bounds, but somebody must have touched it. But Emma Nelson has put it into overdrive. That is 4 kills in the last set and a half.
And Nelson serves. Schroyer chases after it. Fugelstad with a shot down the line, and Nelson couldn't punch it up from the corner.
Shanae with 6. But Callie Schwitters, number 2, 8 kills tonight. 8 of their 29 kills tonight were 1-1.
Kopelke serving. Isaacson almost mishandles that reception. Roll shot from Nelson. Again, Crafty finding a spot where Northwestern isn't. Free ball coming for St. Kate's. Gilbertson, quick set for Cutts, who punches it over. Cutts saw the block coming and then kind of notched that attack back to the left so it avoided the block. 2-1 with Cutts serving. Significant lob on that serve. Gash straight at Nelson in the back row. Free ball from Isaacson, and she hits that one into the Northwestern bench. Tied up 2-2. St. Kate's opened both of the first 2 sets with big runs. They went up 9-4 in the first set and 8-4 in the second set before Beth Wilmoth called timeouts for the Eagles. Tebben now from the middle.
And that's her first kill, I think, since the first set. She's got 2 on the night. .343 attack percentage. That's Big Ten numbers. That's Golden Gopher numbers.
Really clean offense tonight from St. Kate's. Fugelstad from the outside. Cross-court shot. They're saying it found the line here in the corner. Tied up at 3-3. Just 2 aces tonight for Northwestern compared to 5 for St. Kate's. And Rogers looked for the float short there and instead found the tape.
5 service errors, and Beth cannot be happy about that.
Meanwhile, St. Kate's is yet to record a service error tonight. Callie Schwitters cross court into Amaker, who digs it out. Down the pipe comes Isaacson. Now Callie Schwitters flicking it to the back row, and it's long.
Yep. I was afraid there was going to be a touch there, but finger stayed off the ball. Attack error for Northwestern, point for the Wildcats. 5 serving 3.
Isaacson over to Schwitters. Sydney Schwitters right back to Callie. And Callie puts enough punch into that one for a kill.
And Callie is going to be the first player to double figures. It's number 9 tonight. It'll be 4 serving 5.
Sydney Schwitters with the serve. Amaker steps up for the reception. Nelson near side into the block. Then she overpasses it. Harker to Nelson again. Crushes it off the block and out of play.
Is that Nelson that got that?
Indeed it was.
That's number 5.
She has 12 digs tonight too, leading the way for St. Kate's. Tough pass for Schwitters to handle. She taps it into the net and down. 7-4 St. Kate's. Amaker with a laser to the middle, handled by Schroyer. Back set to the right side, and that's a kill for Hardy as she blows it off the block. Northwestern hitting .212 in this one compared to St. Kate's .338. Lucy Pelzel. Harker to the middle. It's Cutts who pushes it right back up. Nelson from the near side blows it through the block. Back set for Callie Schwitters on the far side. Even with Northwestern out of system, that was a pretty clean hit. Another chance for Callie Schwitters. Taps it to the back row. Isaacson with the dig. Now poked over by Leverance. The Eagles with that attack into the middle. Out of the back row, it's Isaacson. Another great dig. That time by Schwitters. Free ball for St. Kate's. Harker outside for Nelson. Roll shot middle, and she ends the run. Nelson racking up kills here. She's got 6 on the evening. Leverance comes out, so does Harker. Gilbertson back in. Lauren Scarr returns to the action too. Schwitters to Gash. Stuffed. Cuts with the rejection. Cuts has accounted for most of the St. Kate's blocks tonight. 2 solo and 3 assists. Cross court, it was Hardy. And Isaacson tried to bump it over. It results in a Northwestern point, and we stand at 9-6. 6.5 team blocks now for the Wildcats on the evening. Callie Schwitter serving. Down the middle for Amaker. Scarr into the block, and it falls right back down.
And
it looks like they're saying 4 hits.
Yeah, no Northwestern, I think, got called for in the net.
Oh, okay. So 10-6 the score. An overpass hammered down by Isaacson, but she's in the net. So that makes it 10-7. Kapelke bounces it into the deck a couple of times. Serves over to Nelson. Gilbertson. Quick set for Cuts. Punched into the net by Schroyer. Cuts has been so consistent tonight, too. You haven't seen her fade at any point. Sydney Schwitters outside for Fugelstad. Down the line, saved by Gilbertson. St. Kate's out of system, but Scarr takes care of it anyway. This has to be one of the best performances for Lauren Scarr in her young career as a Wildcat. The freshman was placed in the starting lineup, and she now has 6 kills on the evening.
Other score, Gustavus is leading University of Minnesota Morris 2-0 and leading 9-8 in the third set. At halftime down in Winona, it is St. Kate's 1 and the Cardinals 0. St. Kate's have led all the way. Had 3 different ties. Northwestern is yet to lead here in this third set. A proud sponsor of Wildcat Athletics is since 1971 Universal Athletic Team. Been passionate about fueling the dreams of athletes, and they put all their know-how into doing just that by servicing and selling athletic gear to your local athletes, high schools, and colleges. Universal Athletic has dedicated its heart and soul to the support of sports, fitness, and health programs in schools and communities. By the way, that address, if you'd like to contact us up here in the booth, to Jason or myself, Tom Marchand, or Gordon Thompson, it is wildcatsbooth@gmail.com. And the Wildcats lead by 5, their biggest lead here in the third set.
By the way, here's a peek at what's to come tomorrow as MIAC play finally hits a full swing. McAllister takes on Carleton. St. Kate's will, of course, be at Concordia. St. Ben's plays at Bethel. Hamlin travels to Winona to take on St. Mary's, and St. Thomas goes to Northfield to face off with St. Olaf. Fugelstad with a kill right out of the break. Northwestern within 4 as St. Kate's leads 2-0. They took the first two by a score of 25-20.
Fugelstad and Schwitters, half of their skills.
Schroyer serves short. Amaker dives for it but can't get to it. And that should be one of just a few aces this
third.
evening. Number 3 now for Northwestern. Nelson with the serve reception. Gilbertson goes on two, got a piece of the tape, and it falls. A pinch of luck there for the freshman Marissa Gilbertson. She had 37 assists and 4 digs in the loss against UW-Superior, averaging almost 6%. Outside for Fugelstad. Missed it wide.
Hit the antenna. Yep. Out of bounds on the kill attempt. Point for the Wildcats. 14, serving 9. Here's Abby.
Freshman from Plymouth. Fugelstad. Now Harker with the back set. Right side, it's Leverance. And Northwestern is called for being in the net.
Boy, they've had a lot of those tonight.
Some crucial miscues that have led to big St. Kate's runs. Service error from Harker. The first service error of the night for the Wildcats.
Yeah, 5 aces, just 1 error.
Surely Todd Nelson will take those numbers. St. Kate's came in averaging 2 aces per set. Harker lobs outside for Isaacson. Handled cleanly by Rogers in the back row. Harker, quick set for Tebben. Hammers over to Schroyer. Schwitter's blocked up front. Tebben with the stuff. May have got some help from Leverance.
And a blocking game. We hadn't seen it too much here in the third set. That's 7.5 tonight. Cutts has been in on 5 of those.
Domination at the net this evening for St. Kate's. Sydney Schwitter's had to dive for it. A free ball coming for St. Kate's. Back set, right side, Leverance cross court. Dug out by Northwestern. Callie Schwitters taps it off the block and down. You talked about it earlier, Tom, but Callie Schwitters' flick push shot is unique and close to being called a carry.
Mm-hmm. But she's got 10 kills. She does have 6 errors. She is hitting just 111.
Harker, quick set for Tebben, and Tebben powers it into the deck. She threaded that one between a couple of Eagles in the back row.
Another 6-point lead.
Back set for Hardy. She taps it over. Harker outside for Nelson. Roll shot. Got a piece of the block. Punched back across by the Eagles. Amaker keeps it up in the middle. Tebben into the block, and it falls back on the St. Kate's side. Gash was the one sending that one back over to the Wildcats. St. Kate's trying to move to 8-3 and remain perfect at home. They won their first one here at the Butler Center. That one mistimed by Cutts. Out of rhythm with Harker. And it's a 4-point advantage for St. Kate's in this third set. Pelzel serving. A swing from Kish. Outside, Callie Schwitters off the block and then down. Just got the fingertips of the St. Kate's block, and then it fell towards the back line. And this small run from Northwestern influences Todd Nelson into calling a timeout.
Of course, the high school volleyball season is in full swing with the state tournament coming up here in a couple of months. And in Class 3A, the Eagan Wildcats are ranked number 1 in the country, in the state. Northfield number 2, followed by Wayzata, Lakefield North, Lakefield South, and Shakopee. Then East Ridge, Champlain Park, Moorhead, and Minnetonka. In Class 2A, the Stewartfield Tigers ranked number 1, followed by North Ranch. North Ranch won it last year. Concordia Academy, the Beacons, are number 3, and then Marshall. The Tigers go every year. Then Cass and Manaville, Belle Plaine, Southwest Christian, New London, Spicer, Watertown, Mare, and Pequot Lakes. Class 1A here in the state. Mariota, the number 1 ranked team of the state, followed by Kenyon Winnemingo. Mayor Lutheran, another southeastern Minnesota team, Medford, followed by Waterville, Elysian, Morristown, another southeast Minnesota, Mayville Canton. Lonnie Morgan's club down there, number 6. Caledonia, number 7, again. Houston County down there. Carleton up on the range, then Henning and Barnesville. The rankings here in the state of Minnesota.
(17-14) as both teams return to the court. St. Kate's leading 2-0. They took each of the first two, 25-20. And they don't want to let the Eagles back into this match by handing them set 3. Cuts with a swing. And that one drops off the block.
You're going to believe that. Is she in double figures now? Yep, there's 10. 10 for Aaron Cuts, in on 5 blocks. And the Wildcats lead by 4.
The transfer from South Dakota State is coming off a 14-kill performance against UW-Superior. Just the second service error of the night now for St. Kate's.
Got a message from Jim, too. He mentioned that Egan and Shaka be 2 top 10 teams in the state playing each other tonight down there in the South Suburban Campus.
Always fun to keep tabs on the high school level, too. St. Kate's in the net. And this third set hasn't been this close in quite some time. Callie Schwitter serving. Amaker stepped up to play it, and then Kish didn't know whether or not to bump it from the back row, so turns into an ace for Callie, who actually leads for Northwestern in aces this season. She came in with 14. Gilbertson to Scar, the lefty from the near side for the kill. Well, you can see why Todd Nelson moved Lauren Scar into that starting lineup and is giving her more run. Nelson serves. Schroyer. Schwitters to Fugelstad. Got a piece of the block. Scar again, this time from the right side. And a free ball coming for St. Kate's. Gilbertson, quick set for Cuts. Northwestern keeps it alive. Another free ball opportunity. Isaacson on the cut shot, and she finds the line.
Just barely found the tape. But the line judge was emphatic. Said it was in. We'll take it.
A big night for Lauren Scar. Schwitter's back set, right side Hardy. Gilbertson to Isaacson. Stuffed at the net.
Through that double block, and Lauren's got her 7th. And the Wildcats have up their lead to 21-17 in the third set, already leading 2-0. Transporting Wildcat athletes, as they did down at Winona tonight, is in the capable hands of Northfield Lines Incorporated, dedicated to ensuring that your travel experience is a positive one. Call to request a quote or make a reservation at 888-670-8068 or visit the website northfieldlines.com. Mentioned it was at halftime down in Winona, and it was 1-0 in favor of the Wildcats as Sophie Campbell picked up the goal. They've outshot the Cardinals 5-4 in that first half.
And we'll try to keep you updated on that one as we hit the final moments, perhaps, in this volleyball match. The final non-conference match before conference play. St. Kate's will have some more non-conference matches coming, but this is the final tune-up before they open MIAC action against Concordia tomorrow up in Moorhead.
They go up to Duluth this weekend, don't they?
They do, yes, and they'll play the College of St. Scholastica and UW-Superior on Saturday.
Another big test.
Matches at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. And those matches aren't at the same site. They play at St. Scholastica and at UW-Superior later in the day. Hardy with a healthy cut from the near side out of the timeout. By the way, the final non-conference match for St. Kate's will be September 27th against Crown College. That's also on the road.
And should mention the 25th, St. Ben's coming to town.
Currently ranked number 12 in the country in the AVCA poll. Fugelstad off the block here. Gilbertson, back set. And Scar takes care of it.
That left-hander on the right side. Scar magic that arm. That's 8, and the Wildcats lead by 4, 22-18.
Scar is hitting .500 too. A phenomenal performance from her tonight. Cuts, bumps it up for Lauren Scar. Down the middle to Schroyer. Schwitters outside Fugelstad. Clobbers it into the block. Now Nelson down the pipe. Straight to Schroyer again. Schwitters will go to Gash up the middle this time. Hit it long, and there's no touch either.
Here's double set, double match point for the Wildcats. Looking for win at number 8.
Schwitters outside Fugelstad. Off the hand of Nelson. And the Eagles stay alive. 23-19. St. Kate's took the first 2 sets. 25-20 and 25-20. Gilbertson floats it outside for Isaacson. Troyer can't push it up. Isaacson has been stellar tonight too, hitting .333, and she has 9 kills, 6 digs to boot. Match point for the Wildcats, looking for win number 8. Schwitters over to Fugelstad. And she got a piece of that St. Kate's block. The attack did land long, but because it got a piece of that Wildcat block, it's 24-20. Rogers serves. Harker, near side, Isaacson going down the line. Misses wide. Back-to-back points for Northwestern. And we sit at 24-21. Third match point opportunity for St. Kate's. Harker on the slide. It's Tebben, and she seals the deal. St. Kate's emerges victorious in their second home match of the year, sweeping Northwestern, and the Wildcats move to 8-3 on the season.
Going to try to get the attention of Lindsay, see if we can't get Aaron Kutz over here on our post-game show. But the Wildcats led all the way. Led by as many as 6 in that third set. We did have 3 different ties. And for the Wildcats,
was a big piece there, as you were saying.
327 batting average, right? 327 was their attack percentage. As they had 43 kills and just 9 attack errors. Just 2 service errors, 5 aces. And in addition to the play at the net, very impressed on how the Wildcats dug it out of the back row, getting passes up front. And the 2 setters did a great job of getting it to the hitters.
Yeah, you don't hit 327 unless your team is passing well to your setters. And this was an all-around effort tonight from St. Kate's to get the win and end that little skid that they had during the UW River Falls tournament. They dropped a couple against UW Superior and UW River Falls, but now they're back on track as they get that victory against Northwestern. And although the Eagles are out of the UMAC, this is an excellent program. One that almost always wins the UMAC. 12 championships in the 16 years that Beth Wilmoth has coached for the Eagles, and yet they come in here and St. Kate's dispatches them in straight sets. Some final team stats here. Do you have something, Tom?
Okay. Oh, here we've got Aaron Cutts coming up here.
Here we go.
And let Aaron take a deep breath. Aaron, I'll let you talk to Jason.
Hi there. There's the headset for you. Aaron, congrats on the victory, first of all. Hard-fought one against a Northwestern team that's really strong. What was working for you guys tonight?
I think for us, we knew we had to come out and keep consistent energy the whole time, play our game, and make sure that we were just having a positive attitude no matter what the point was, how the run went. And we did a really great job of that tonight, so I think that was our biggest thing.
Mm-hmm. And we were remarking throughout the game that you guys were hitting over 300 consistently. What was different tonight for the attack against Northwestern?
I think we were really communicating well and seeing the block that they had up. We were able to stay in system a lot, too, because our defense was on point, which was really helpful.
I'm guessing you got help from both of your setters, Gilbertson and Harker.
Yeah, they've been doing a great job. So.
And then for yourself tonight, a really impressive performance with 10 kills, a handful of blocks right out of the gate, too. How did it feel to get that strong start against a really stout foe in Northwestern?
It felt really great. Honestly, it was a big momentum builder, and I think that carried way into the rest of the match, which was good for us, and we kept that energy up the whole time. So,
is there anything that you're going to take from this one into MIAC play?
I think the biggest thing is just having the confidence now. Like, we know we can come out and compete at a high level, and we know we can do it consistently, and I think we're going to carry that into MIACs, and it'll show, hopefully. All
right. Well, thank you for your time, Aaron. Congrats on the victory, and go enjoy the celebration with your teammates.
Thank you.
That's Aaron Cutts after an excellent performance. Thanks again for joining us, Aaron. We appreciate it. 25-20, 25-20, and 25-21. The score lines here tonight.
And we have to make sure, let the Eagles fans, let them know that they had 37 kills, led by Callie Schwitters with 11. Janae Fugelstead was also in double figures with 10. 4 for Lucy Puzzell, 5 for Kendra Hardy, and 5 for Anna Gash. They did have 4 service aces and 3 blocks down tonight, but they lose for the 4th time this season.
Yeah, and when you look at the stat line for Northwestern with Callie Schwitters, Sydney Schwitters, and Janae Fugelstad, as well as Anna Gash and some of the other weapons they have, it's just a really well-rounded team, one that has weapons at its disposal, and yet St. Kate's took care of them pretty handily in that in each and every set they jumped out to a big advantage, 8-4, 9-4, and they closed the deal every time.
Meanwhile, the only other match involving an MIAC team, Gustavus at home, and they swept University of Minnesota Morrison 3, 25-14, 17, and 25-19, and they run their record, I believe, to 8-5 on the season. They started out 4-0, the defending conference champions, then ran into a buzzsaw, and they were at 4-3, but they've come back and now 8-5, and they will be at Augsburg on Friday night.
So with the win, St. Kate's improves to 8-3. They're 2-0 at home. On the other side, Northwestern is 6-4, and they're an even 2-2 on the road. A reminder, if you haven't heard it enough already, St. Kate's starts MIAC play tomorrow against Concordia College on the road up at Moorhead. 7 p.m. first serve for that one. And then we'll be back on the air here at the Butler Center on September 25th for the first home MIAC match against the College of St. Benedict.
Piece of cake.
Piece of cake against the number 12 team in the country.
Yeah, St. Ben's will be here, and Nicole Hess and her crew will be up here. And should be a great night, and hopefully we'll have a big crowd on hand. So good night here on Faculty and Staff Appreciation Night. And it's going to wrap up our broadcast. If you want to run the credits there, Jason.
Yeah, a big thank you to Glenn Thompson as well for all his work on the production side. And thank you to Tom, as always, for organizing our broadcast here on TJ Broadcast Services. A final thank you as well to Athletic Director Eric Stacy and SID Lindsay Madriga for all their help tonight. Your final score from the Butler Center tonight. St. Kate's in straight sets, 25-20, 25-20, and 25-21. The Wildcats move to 8-3 with an impressive non-conference victory over Northwestern.